first. Everything's so amazing. I said, wow.
Hello, welcome. Come in.
I must introduce all our friends.
I'm Lucy.
You're Lucy. Welcome, Lucy, dear. Come in and go and sit down.
I'm Alice.
Alice, and where are you from, Alice?
Hailing Island.
Hailing Island.
I'm Jane.
And Jane from Newport, Wales.
I'm Philip.
And Philip. And let me think, Lucy was from Scotland,
Yes,
wasn't she?
yes.
Come along in, Philip.
Good, good, good.
Come along, Jimmy. Nice to see you. Wonderful. Right.
Excuse me a minute, Malcolm. Hello, can I help you?
Yes, it says outside you say sell gay news.
Yes, would you like a copy?
Yes, please.
It's 25 pence, please. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Would you like some coffee while you're here?
Yes, please.
Right, well, let's get some over there.
What else do you do in SMG? I mean, apart from selling papers and things.
Well, we have weekly meetings, we have discussions and guest speakers, for example, and social events, too. In fact, we're having a disco this evening, but not in here, I hasten to
Really,
add.
a disco? What, you mean men dancing with men?
And women with women, yes.
It doesn't seem possible in Scotland.
It happens in Scotland, yes. Have you been to a gay disco before?
No, I don't think I'd have the nerve. What do people wear?
Exactly the same sort of thing as you and I are wearing now. Would you like to come along?
Well, yes.
We shall only succeed in maintaining and securing our traditional tolerance and fairness in this country if we cut the number of immigrants coming in now.
I think Mrs. Thatcher's remarks are very much racist, and there are people within even the parliamentary Tory party who are saying that she shouldn't have said some of these things.
What do you think she actually said?
Well, she was trying to say, well, immigration, number of people coming in should be cut down. What she hasn't said, that out of 70,000 immigrants who came in recently, it's less than half were black people. You know, those are the ones she's getting at. She's not talking about immigrants. I think we ought to make the difference with the euphemistic term of the word. And of course, that's what she's doing.
What effect do you think the words will have?
Well, I think it's going to add to the conflict and the violence in places like this where Powell has sown his seeds. Yeah, it's not going to help.
We were given some clogs tonight. Don't you think they're very smart? They look enormous. I can't think whether they're easy to wear, but I must try. They're Lancashire clogs. Clog maker. Well, I'm going to try them on first, but they told me I should go canvassing or something in them. But don't you have to sort of rock in a clog? You don't walk, you gently rock. Sounds like rock, rock, rock around the clog, doesn't it? I'll try them on to see if they're comfortable.
Could you stay with your fantasy, Addison? And maybe just stay with it with your eyes closed, and just share with us what's happening for you in your fantasy.
In the first part of my fantasy, I was in a South Sea Island type place, a beautiful blue lagoon. And just alternating between swimming and lying on the beach and not having to do anything or think about anything or worry about anything. Just letting go. Just doing nothing. Just being.
Do you find that difficult to do here? Could you let yourself do nothing right now? Or talk about what makes it difficult for you to do that?
I think I feel that if I do nothing, I almost don't exist. If people can't see me doing anything, I'm worthless somehow.
Of all the hundreds of airplanes we've recovered over the last 10 years, very, very few still have the pilots in them. And if we were certain that the pilot was still in there, I think we'd probably think twice about a recovery operation.
Cat's got the wheel. Compass.
Well, we seem to have come across the cockpit area now, but a lot of the wreckage is mixed up together, and obviously on impact all the wreckage is concentrated down into the cockpit area. Anything that was really recognisable as human remains, isn't it? Those 2 feet. The thing now is to inform the police. It's a very, very rare occurrence that we find an aircraft with the remains of the pilot on board. Most of them bailed out safely. In this instance, the aeroplane dived into the ground at high speed, buried itself about 25 feet, and the facilities that they had at the time just weren't sufficient to recover the aircraft or the pilot. So we shall now have to notify the authorities.
Hello, please? Yes? I'd like to report the finding of some human remains.
Oh.
We have to think in terms of several parliaments. We have to move this country in a new direction, to change the way we look at things, to create a wholly new attitude of mind. Can it be done? Well, the people have taken the first step by electing us. We say to them, yes, the Conservatives can do it, and we will do it. Time to shake off the self-doubt induced by decades of dependence on the state as master and not as servant.
the remains there in 2 plastic sacks. So that's our sort of business done now.
You've actually recovered the remains from the aircraft?
From the aircraft, yeah. But these, when we were filling the site back in again, we come across this, you know, amongst the rubbish and stuff.
What sort of aeroplane was it?
A Hurricane. There's some of the remains of the aircraft, along with the 2 sacks of bits and pieces.
It's definitely a Hurricane.
Yes, it smells a bit as well. That's the remains of him. It's a bit.
That's a skeleton, isn't it?
Oh, bones and bits and pieces.
Yeah, probably.
It's a bit right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's more a mudripe than a...
Yeah,
It smells typical Sheffy soil, doesn't it? You know, yuck.
If the remains are sorted through and the bits of uniform are sorted through, presumably there's some form of identification there somewhere.
I mean, we don't relish the thought of sort of kicking it about.
We should have to do it.
Yeah, we do that. I'm aware that I really am enjoying you for the first time. I've only been in a group with you a couple of times, and I haven't liked your smile and your talk. I'm sorry, I think you're pretty and attractive, but I haven't liked your way. And I suddenly find myself liking this kind of slightly spare, empty look. It interests me very much. Am I interested?
Spare and empty.
That's the way you fill it with action, you fill it with chatter. It puts me off. I like you when you don't smile.
OK, 3,000. Option 1, enter product. 2, orders accepted. Thank you. Enter next system code. Goodbye and thank you.
Nice bit of beer. It's going free, so that's what it's all about. We've got loads now.
Somebody's in there pissing in the bowl.
And so I arranged for a post-mortem examination to be carried out on the body. And in addition to the human remains, there were found the identification number of the aircraft and also the pilot's own identification number. And these details were fed to the Royal Air Force, and their records were able to establish the identity of the pilot.
Do you drink?
No, I don't. No, it doesn't interest me in the slightest. I've nothing against it at all. The wife can't stand it. She can't stand it. She'd run a mile rather than, you know. But I have nothing against it, whatever.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't smoke. No, I used to, and I used to thoroughly enjoy it. Or not to split infinity. I used to thoroughly to enjoy it, you know.
Do you ever go to the pictures?
No, I don't now, because the wife's view of pictures and everything is different from mine, you know, and she might think this was offensive, you know, which to me wouldn't be. You understand what I mean? We live in different worlds, I'm afraid. Different worlds. It can't be helped. It's just the way it is. So I don't bother. And if I were to go by myself, I suppose she would probably think I was with somebody else. You understand what I mean? So I don't. I just don't bother. I've given up. I've completely given up. You know, I'm just really. It sounds ridiculous to you, of course, and you won't believe it, and none of the people who see this will believe it. But I'm just waiting to be measured up for the old box. You know. You know, the 6 foot by 2, you know, that one. Yeah.
We arrived there, and those other boats that were in the near vicinity, they were already lifting the survivors.
What was the state of Lord Mountbatten's boat?
Well, it was non-existent. It was just in very small cases. It's just blown to small bits.
And how loud was the explosion?
Well, it was very loud. In fact, everybody in the village heard it.
Talking of the cinema, would you like to accompany me to the Roxy tonight?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I might make a pass. Because I'm your employer, if you didn't do what you're told, I might make things difficult for you. Like losing you your job. But I wouldn't do things like that. No, all I want is the companionship of a beautiful woman.
Well, take your wife. I'm sure she's beautiful.
Yes, it's often been said that my wife has the face that could launch 1,000 ships.
You mean she's like Helen of Troy?
No, she looks like a docker.
You believe in astrology?
Yes, I do. I find I'm at ease most with other fire signs, which are Leo and Aries.
You're a Sagittarian, I
Yes,
gather.
yes, that's correct.
And that, of course, is a very strong sign.
Just by virtue of the fact that you have a routine, you have a family, and your horizons are limited, obviously you just are not able to get out into the wide world and meet people. And this is one way of doing it. Visual impressions are very important, and if you can see somebody, you more or less know straight away whether you think you will like them or not. With the video type of dating system, you can have a look at them. If you don't like them, then you just whiz on to somebody else. Other times, you can see somebody who you think is fantastic, and they open their mouth and they put their foot in it.
When I really go over the top with boredom.
One of the main things about it was the feeling that you got from the body of the church, from the singing in the church. There was a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion. People thinking about their wedding days and their baptisms and so forth. I think, well, even I'd think about bringing 4 daughters up the aisle. So, be married, giving them away.
Monetarism worked throughout the 19th century, when we were the envy of the world, with our people growing in numbers and generally prospering, generally, despite all the horrors of the time, with the world looking to us for how to do it. It could work again. There arose a slightly messianic sense of mission.
So I want you to do it again. Ready? Begin.
I could have danced all night.
Louder.
I could have danced all night.
Go all the way. Don't waste your time.
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night.
Do it again then.
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have danced some more. I could spread my wings and not about.
Most of the bars in Belfast in the centre all closed down around between 8 and 9. Then there's only the nightclubs that open, and then there's just a few bars like the Harp.
That's where the punk groups play.
They stay open pretty late.
That's great, you know, like anybody can go to the Harp or the Pound. There's never any sort of trouble between religious factions in there. You know, there's never any fights.
They just want to hear the music and enjoy themselves.
The music sort of brings them together.
Well, about a month ago, he developed a rash which he'd had over 12 months ago. The rash, when he had it 12 months and more ago, we took him to the vet, and he told us it was a sort of a fungus, which we'd have to watch. He had treatment for about 2 months more, and the rash did clear up. Then, as I said, it reoccurred again about a month ago, and on being taken to the vets, we were informed that he was changing sex. Well, you can imagine that this was a shock to us. The vet went on to explain that his male organs were disappearing, and as such he was developing very prominent female organs.
He's an immensely masculine-looking dog.
Yes. This is a sort of tragedy. I mean, I look at Bruno and I think, well, I can't imagine you as being feminine. He's too masculine. But apparently, according to what the vet told us, that with having the operation, the dog should be, you know, a completely new dog.
I think we'll have coffee instead. It's all so much quicker, isn't it?
No one could call this a particularly grand kitchen,
No, it isn't. And you'll see what I mean. There's absolutely no way in which you could eat in here. There's no place where you can get a small table in. And I've always longed for a really lovely kitchen, which I've never really had. One that would go straight out onto a patio where you could have breakfast. Always longed for that, but never had it. Oh, well.
Won't cry.
Right,
There's some cards there.
Yeah.
Letters, no bills.
Probably bills, yeah.
I'll have a look upstairs then. All right? Come in.
It's your house. In 25 years, it is your house and nobody else's. Nobody can take it away from you. You're in rented accommodation, you pay rent until the day you die for nothing. And you just can't lose.
We found a man running a small...
That's your pigeon.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's basically, it's a man running a small stable of very young and even underage prostitutes, who he has, for the most part, corrupted himself.
Yeah, well, it's the sort of thing that gets our readers very angry.
Age 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Smashing.
This is David Potts. On behalf of the News of the World, testing this tape prior to an interview on child corruption. Testing, testing, testing.
Your candidate, Helena Stevens.
But if you go close up to a black hole, then the gravitational field becomes stronger. It'd be a very nice idea. If one could fall into a black hole and then come out in another universe.
Dennis Meadows, condemned to a life on the dole. Is that how you see it?
That's precisely what's happening in concert from 2 o'clock today. There's 3,500 men will be off this plant, and in effect, they have no job prospects whatsoever.
Sorry about the warmth of the welcome.
Oh, that was absolutely terrific, wasn't it? Which factory is closed?
A small one, which has suffered lack of investment, among other things.
This is what would normally be a working day. It's the middle of the week. And we're now down in this plant, which produces well over half the cast iron baths of the United Kingdom, on to 1 week on, 1 week off. And that's an immediate and practical effect of the strict monetarism policy that the government is carrying out.
The managing director said, I'm very sorry to tell you, but as from this minute, the firm has gone into voluntary liquidation. That was it.
And somebody shouted, will we get any wages? And he said, you'll get nothing.
There now follows a government statement on the current employment figures.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. The government seems to have totally lost its way in terms of the interaction of 4 economic indicators on British industry. Oh, God. As every member of any firm knows, once, with high interest rates as a weapon for controlling money supply, what is the first thing that has to be cut? Investment. Because you still have to pay wages and you still have to pay your current costs.
One day we may be able to afford it. I get the economic policies right.
The government would say, just hang on and stop making such a fuss now. Yeah, all I can say is that the government isn't standing where I'm bloody well standing.
Sign your name's address, please. Can take one back, please.
You seem to be dancing on your own.
I am.
Is that allowed?
No, see, my partner wasn't allowed in.
Really?
Yeah.
But you seem you're doing all right, though, aren't you?
Well, I'm trying.
What do you think about when you're dancing?
Nothing.
Just mind a
Complete blank.
Personally, I think you're the type that would like to because you're not really onto. I think you like the more gentle thing. Being look, couldn't you pass speech and what they do rubbing the that's one thing.
Have you got a label?
Yeah, I just look at the washing labels on my clothes, and if they're clean, I put them on. They're the only labels I take any notice of.
Well, I like The Damned and things like that. I'm a punk and she likes all sorts.
Do you class yourselves as punks?
Don't class yourself as anything, individuals.
Well, I'm a Bowie fan.
A Bowie fan?
Yeah.
Do you class yourself as anything else? Do you like being classed as a Bowie fan?
Yeah, that's what I like, you know.
That's what it'd be. Are you both classed as Bowie fans?
No.
Yeah, she's not.
I was a Susie fan until I met him.
Well, very normal in this world today, very normal. Normal person. Not weird at all.
Label? A woman?
I'm a me rocker. I'm into myself.
What were you before you were in Arab?
I was a punk for a while. Mod.
What made you change from punk to Arab?
I got more money. If you were to class yourself as anything, would you? If you had to?
If I had to, I wouldn't. I would just call myself me.
Beresford, he knew. He was talking to me about the terrible things that were going on in the squadron. He said, I just can't stand the way he fligs about in the air every time there's a blitz on. We all shout at him that he's not following the vectors given by the controller, but it makes no difference. He just goes the wrong way and then circles and circles around in the air. This afternoon, we all saw the bombs crashing below us, way over to the east, on the oil tanks in the Thames estuary. But do you think that made any difference to him? No. He just went on circling at about 18,000 feet. He didn't seem to hear or see anything.
But they all disappeared in the same way, and I don't know how many of them were ever found again. Presumably, like Hugh Beresford, they may have just dug themselves into the ground somewhere.
It cost us lives. I don't know how many lives.
You're unemployed? Yes, please. Only 1 day a week I'm working.
What do you do then?
I'm going to the unemployment exchange to be collecting my money. God blimey. I get more money for not being working than when I'm working.
I don't think that series is socially damaging. I hope it isn't, otherwise we really oughtn't to be doing it. But I think that what people get out of that is a lot of enjoyment. I don't think it's at the expense of the characters. I think there is a multiracial community working in that classroom at some level which is enjoyable, which may make people who are not members of any of those racial minorities friendlier towards the races that they see portrayed there, without saying, when they meet an Indian in the street, oh, he always talks like that and he's funny because he wears a turban.
What have you been taking?
Taking?
Glue. Glue? What, you been sniffing that tin of glue?
You didn't take all of it, did you?
Yes, I did. What? What do you mean? No, at all. What, you taking the whole tin?
I don't know what it is. Oh, I know. Who's got it?
What, he's lost it?
Who? Davey's got it.
Davey.
He'll be back in a minute. He's going to get some money to get chips for us.
You better.
He will, I promise.
Has he got the glue? We need glue, man. We need glue, man.
Don't you think at the end of the day they're a load of hooligans, whatever their views are, and it's best just to leave them alone?
Yeah, but how can you leave them alone? When they beat our mothers and children, you tell us to leave them alone.
That's the right question.
Is this the first time this has happened on this sort of scale?
Yeah, it never happened before.
It's happened at schools, right? So there's like they're taking their little kids to school, Indian women, and skinheads are beating them up. Yeah. And this time it got worse.
So nobody wants to know, so we had to do what we could do for our people.
We've been telling the police, we've been telling the local authority that Southall is going to explode tomorrow. Because in view of the kind of racial harassment of blacks in Southall, nothing is being done.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know
extent where Southall will explode tomorrow.
So there's plenty of room this year, because we haven't got Princess Anne there, have we?
No, we haven't. No, it's just the
two there. Is that far? That's about right for the minute.
Well, I'm just wondering.
We want plenty of room.
Do you think?
Well, we've only got the pages. I think they want to be slightly in view of Her Majesty.
We
Just as long as they have enough room for their feet, and everything, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I think that's about right.
That's right.
Plus you with a small button.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Duke of Gloucester, Duke of Kent.
Yes.
And then we fill up that particular bench there.
That's
with
right.
The senior players, and that's 8 of them.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And then you were asking
the
about
ambassadors along there after the royal ladies, and the overflow just above.
That's it.
And then we start the duchesses there and carry on in order of precedence in the usual way. And I'd like to know who's the head ambassador, because I'd rather like to come and say hello to him. I think he's Tonga this year, I'm not sure. But I think it is.
Yeah, when I started work, I wore split skirt up to the knee, and the boss complained about that, said the split was too high and it attracted men. So I then wore a dress, but I didn't feel at all comfortable in it. So I changed again to a T-shirt with a knot, and I got sent to the personnel manager. And she said it looked slutty, tarty, my earrings looked stupid, and the dye in my hair. But she complimented me on my work.
Can you iron a shirt?
No.
Why not?
I never tried it.
Why not?
I just never tried it.
Why would you not try it for?
Because the wife does it.
And why should your wife do it?
I don't know. Let's put it that way.
No, I don't know anybody anymore.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, making new friends? You know, there's places that you can go. Have you gone to any of the local pubs in this area?
Would you actually go up to girls and talk to them? Or do you just sort of, stand around? I mean, it's up to you to make the first move, really.
Hello, Grapevine. Yes? Can I help you? It's another wanker. Yes, can I help you? I'm afraid we really can't talk to you on the telephone while you're masturbating, because we have a policy here that we're really colluding with you in your fantasies, and it's not doing you any good, and it's not doing me any good.
And I'd really like to help you, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to come in and talk to us. And we'll be more than happy to see you face to face, but otherwise, it's no good talking on the telephone for either you or me. Okay? Well, I'm very sorry, but, you know, as I say, it's colluding with you, okay?
They would like the people who have withdraw from the area, and then the people will disperse and they will go home.
You've got to try
but
it.
As long
yeah,
as the police
the damage
remains within the area.
It's a risk, you've got to take it.
Just a minute. A, there is no question of people arrested being released.
Yes.
B, I have a responsibility, as I told you before, to preserve law and order. Now, there is no... How can they guarantee what the rest of them are going to do? How can they do that?
No, well, you see, what they're saying is that at the present time, the majority of the people are in the background. They've been drinking, and there's music going there, and there's overturned cars in the streets, there's Molotov cocktails, and if something is not done at the present time, it's going to be a highly explosive situation. And the only way to defuse this situation is by decreasing the presence of the police within the area at the present time, because they see the police as their target, as the target that they want to attack.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I appreciate what you've already done. But there is no question, in my decision at the moment, there is no question of withdrawing police from here.
Yes,
Initial.
Well, actually, we hate each other anyway. At least I hate him, and I hate her. Don't get on at all together, do we? No, no. I don't think she hated me in the first place. It wasn't until we got talking she realised that I didn't really have the same feelings about her as she did about me. And a bit jealous of me, really. She does all the carrying and all the talking, and I get all the laughs. Not fair, really. I mean, if I got myself a nice, thin, little blonde bird, I'll get away, you know. It's only because she's a fat old cow. See what I mean? She gets violent, doesn't she? Does anyone imagine that there is the smallest political gain in letting this level of unemployment continue? Or that there is some obscure economic religion which demands this level of unemployment as part of its grisly ritual? Has Britain the courage and resolve
to sustain the discipline for long enough to break through to success. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have and we shall. This government is determined to stay with the policy and see it through to its conclusion. And that is what marks this administration as one of the truly radical ministries of post-war Britain.
She knew that she did not have the full trust of the cabinet, but she fought it through nonetheless, and she invented a consensus of the nation, the junior ministers, the backbenchers, all of whom she thought shared her vision of what England had been and could be. All this was inspired by her childhood reading of Churchill. And I remember her at the time, again and again, repeating, almost like a mantra, Churchill in 1940, Churchill in 1940, Churchill in 1940.
A sort of bogus romantic cult has been built up about fighter pilots. Fighter piloting was really backstabbing. And if you could creep up on your enemy without him knowing anything about it and stab him right in the back, that was the most efficacious thing to do. The fighter pilot is well insulated from the harsh realities of his actions. He doesn't get splashed by the blood or hear the squeals or see the mutilated remains of his victim. So that in point of fact, it's a nasty and brutal little business.
Well, on this track, I'm doing a sort of tribute to Professor Longhair, who was a New Orleans R&B pianist right through the 50s. He died last month, and we happened to just be at his last concert in New Orleans, so that's where ska came from in the first place. See, and then ska came from Fats Domino's style of piano playing, which was sort of emphasise the offbeat like that. Then started slowing down, you got sort of reggae. Pot of this for music.
He's been very much of a family pet.
Yes.
How are your children reacting to it?
Well, he does belong to my son, who I'm afraid is very much against the operation. I suppose, like we all are, we can only think of Bruno as being a boy. Girl doesn't enter into it, and is against the operation. Son is. But I think, for the sake of all of us, and Bruno himself, more important, he'll have to be operated on.
After the operation, you can't very well call him Bruno.
No. That is going to be the question, isn't it? We have laughed about this, but probably to sort of hide our sorrow, but, well, what can you name him? Have you any suggestion?
Beneath the moon, under
the sun.
Here's a brief list of words which were invented or which acquired their modern meaning in that period. They include industry, industrialist, factory, middle class, working class and aristocracy. They include railway, engineer, scientist, statistics, journalism, ideology, strike. They include capitalism and socialism. They barely existed before the early 19th century. The generation of men who grew up under the shadow and inspiration of the two great revolutions was the first to have to come to terms with them.
Stars in your eyes, little one, where do you go to dream? To a place we all know, the land of make-believe. Voices whisper, will you come and play? For all the tea in China on the
And the irony is that Churchill delivered the breathing space. He delivered the victories. But because he'd done it by invoking this a special myth that gave a kind of impregnability to the ideas, that no one could question them, he and we were still lumbered with this myth, which is a very romantic vision of our past and how it had to be projected into our future. Still today, it is a treason to question these arguments. I don't want to listen to the arguments. The myth is what counts.